Walter Carter here with a Rickenbacker 456-12. Obviously a 12-string with something different. This guitar was made in 1968, but it has features that go back farther in Rickenbacker history. You'll notice it's somewhat unfamiliar body shape for a Rickenbacker guitar. It's a solid body, doesn't have a sound hole, and it has neck-through construction, which sets it apart from a lot of electric guitars of that era. Let's go back to 1953. Adolf Rickenbacker still owns Rickenbacker. He's ready to sell. His distributor, a fellow named F.C. Hall, owned Radio-Tel, short for Radio, Television, and Equipment Company. Hall bought Rickenbacker. Radio-Tel also distributed Fender at that time, and Leo Fender said, now you're a competitor. So Fender severed ties, leaving F.C. Hall with the Rickenbacker company and no Fenders to distribute. So he decided he better become a guitar company as fast as possible. Rickenbacker was still famous as the company that made the first viable electric guitar, but they were primarily a steel guitar company. They're Spanish neck guitars. They bought bodies from other companies and just slapped their pickups on. But that changed as soon as Mr. Hall acquired the company. Within a year, he hired a German designer named Roger Rossmeisel, who had come to the U.S. to work for Gibson, and that didn't work out, so he immediately went to the West Coast and was hired by Rickenbacker. He came up with some solid body designs. Rossmeisel put Rickenbacker into a competitive position in the guitar market with some solid bodies that had an offset double cutaway. In '57, a new line of solid bodies that had a sort of tulip-shaped cutaway that didn't work very well because you would pinch your finger here. So in '58, those models got changed to this body shape that had this. Just for convenience, we call this the cresting wave cutaway shape. This is the model 450. It was a 6-string, as were all Rickenbackers until 1964. Mr. Hall made up a 12-string, presented it to George Harrison of the Beatles, and Rickenbacker 12-strings were then on the map. The solid bodies also became available in a 12-string, but because Harrison played one, Roger McGuinn and the Byrds played the same style, semi-hollow style, the solid body Ricks kind of fell by the wayside. This guitar was made in 1968. It has this little contraption that allows you to convert from a 6 to a 12-string on the fly. Here it is in 12-string mode. What this does, you hook all of the strings that make it a 12-string, pull it down, all of a sudden we're a 6-string now. How about 12? In the flick of a lever, you're now 12-string again. This didn't last long. '68 was the first year. This was available on a solid body. It was discontinued on the semi-hollows in '74, and this one was probably last made around '78. Why did it fall out of production? I don't know. It's pretty useful, but in a limited scope. If you're playing live, you need to switch mid-song. You've got two choices. You've got a double neck to tote around that weighs twice as much. I guess you could pick up another guitar mid-song, plug it in. That would be unwieldy, certainly not as fast. With a double neck, the switch could be done just by switch. This can be done in about 5 seconds. So if you needed to switch, you could have the band do a turnaround twice as long. Going back to 12 is even quicker. So if you need a quick change without the inconvenience of carrying around two guitars or carrying around a double neck, the Rickenbacker 450-6-12 is probably the guitar for you.